Hi, welcome to this week's blog. It's about the biology of desire. I read a book over the weekend, really good book, about why addiction is not a disease. It's written by a neuroscientist, not your everyday average person who just says, oh, I don't think it's a disease. This guy has done the research in it. He's also a former addict. His name is Mark Lewis. I highly recommend reading the book. You can go online and buy it, Amazon or whatever, but it's worth having it, okay? One of the things he talks about is the biology of desire. Why do we do what we do? In my book, The Addiction Hacks, we talk about the exact same thing from a different perspective. He's going into what I'm going to call biomechanics. In other words, when you connect this synapse to this one, that's what you get, okay? I have said for a long time, and the medical profession doesn't like it. In fact, they would block me if they could, I've always believed that addiction is not a disease. Because most diseases you can cure, or you can't cure them and it's the end of it. You either have it or you don't have it. I don't know anybody who wakes up one morning and says, oh, yesterday I had cancer. And today I've decided not to. I've made a total decision and I'm not going to do it again. Really? It doesn't happen that way. But time and time again, you'll notice that people just one day quit being an alcoholic, quit being a drug user, quit doing too much porn, quit doing too much sex, quit eating too much foods. They just stop. Well, if it was a true disease, it wouldn't happen that way. But why is it classified a disease? Interesting. You can make more money that way. The doctors want to classify and quantify people, and they don't want to blame them for it. The psychologist, oh, the person's going through enough pain. I don't want to tell them that it's their own fault, when the reality is it is. Now it seems a little harsh, but it's reality. But what if we could show you a way that you could eliminate the addiction and do it very, very quickly? Less than a day. Well, it can be done. And it will be done. And in the book, it talks about how to do it. You can email me, of course, like anytime, and I'll talk to you about it. Okay, but the bottom line is the biology of desire. We are programmed from day one to avoid pain and seek pleasure. We have human needs. There's 6 human needs that we all have, regardless of where you're from, regardless of how you grew up, whether you grew up with a golden spoon in your mouth or you grew up with no spoon. Poor. We all have the same human needs. And one of those needs is the need to avoid pain and seek pleasure. So why don't you just quit? If you know that's going to give you more pleasure. Well, the problem is, again, we're trying to avoid pain. How did you get hooked on your drug or your alcohol? It became a learned behavior. You saw somebody doing it, you did it, you wanted to be friends with them, they wanted to be friends with you. Let's take alcohol, for example. Let's go socialize. What are you going to do? Oh, let's go have a drink together. That tends to reinforce the bad behavior. So drinking a little bit here, drink a little, and then all of a sudden your mind starts to associate drinking with pleasure. So that's why we continue to do it. What if, big what if we could go in and talk to you and work with you a little bit and say, look, this is the pain it's causing. You will cause so much pain to yourself and others if you continue to do this. At that point, it becomes pain, and you'll avoid it. That's the simplest explanation I can give you to this thing. One more thing. As you notice, I'm sitting here and I'm holding myself up a little bit. 3 weeks ago, I was riding my mountain bike, as a young person would do. And I think whenever I get on a bike, I think I'm back to 8 and 10 years old. I'm not. But anyway, you think that way. So I was riding my bike, fell off the bike at a fairly decent speed, and hit a pretty hard surface. Pretty bad. I have 4 fractures in my pelvis that are now healing. And I kind of wanted you to know that because the first thing the doctor did was, oh, I got to get you a painkiller. Oh, really? Okay. What are you going to give me? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to give you something. Anyway, so I argued. I told him, no, I'm not going to take what you want to give me. Now, in the hospital in 3 days, which is excruciating pain, they gave me a little morphine. And I told them I wanted so little of it that it would barely do anything. Well, all it did was help me sleep a little tiny bit. And they gave me about half to a quarter of what they'd give most people. Went back to the doctor 2 weeks after that. In excruciating pain still, could barely sleep at night. Yeah, I would take Tylenols, and I would take a Tylenol with Tylenol PM to help me sleep at night. And it's healing. But I told the doctor I really felt like I needed something for pain. And I believe that if you have that situation, you should go ahead and get something for pain. But in my situation, I was not going to use oxys. That's a drug that in my family had become pretty addictive, and a couple family members have died from it. Immediate family member was addicted to it. 2 of them were. So that's the problem. So I just said, no, I'm not going to do that, doc. What do you think he did? He said, okay, I'll get you a prescription. So I leave his office. We hobble over to the pharmacy, and guess what? I pick up the prescription. It's Oxycontin. You know what? My mind immediately went to pain. Knowing the addictions, knowing what it could be, knowing that my tendency would be to want to do something like this, I simply realized that there was far more pain to doing that shit. That's what I call it, shit. And I don't mind telling you. Far more pain to doing oxys than there would be to just go through rehab and deal with this. Well, that's what I've been doing. So I have some Tylenol at night, helps me sleep. I deal with the pain, I feel it. But I also feel better and have more pleasure knowing that I will never be addicted again, ever. So, anyway, going back to this again, let's go ahead and read it. Read about it. Get the book. I recommend you get the book. Go online, get it. It is a good book, and it really debunks all the things that the medical society has said. But the bottom line is this: know that you can change, and know you can change quick. I have the step-by-step directions in my book, addictionhacks.com. I mean, you can read it. I have vlogs in here, blogs that will tell you exactly how to do it. If you have any questions, email me. The reality is, all of the people I've helped who were alcoholics, drug users, we're talking oxys all the way through to drinking so much at night they couldn't even stay awake. Those people were able to stop usually within a day. Well, if it was a disease, they couldn't. So that's where we are today. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this. Watch the other blogs. Watch the other video blogs in here. Read about them a little bit. If you have any questions, please, please, please give me a call. Talk with me about it. Okay? You email me, we'll talk about it. I'll go on Skype, whatever. But I am passionate. This can be handled, and your life will turn around. That's my wish for you. Thank you. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.